Now let us move on to our topic for today, which is about the entrepreneur toolkit, obviously. Now, in this toolkit, what exactly do we mean? I already mentioned in the beginning. Am I audible? Yeah. So I already mentioned in the beginning, we are talking about a 21st century entrepreneur who's going to carry this kit to mend all your problems. Now, if you look at the good old days, like the times about not only before pandemic, but about 5 to 6 years back, businesses were defined in terms of processes. There was a streamlining of businesses that was there, and for a leader, what he was required to look into was only in case of any deviation, in case there was any changes in the businesses. That is what a leader or an entrepreneur was called into to look. But today the dynamics is different. It is changed. If you are playing chess, so those of you who know about chess as a game, you would realize that chess is a game which can be studied and evolved over a period of time. So once you start practicing chess every single day, you get better and better at it. But and then one day you become a master. There are certain moves that you need to make, and once you study those moves really well, you tend to become a master. And that is what leaders, entrepreneurs in the good old days used to do: practice something about their business, about the work that they do, and they would evolve as leaders and as entrepreneurs who would be capable of taking charge of their business, because market conditions were different. But today the environment is completely different. Today when we look at businesses, it's all about a lot of changes happening around. In a fraction of a few days, few months, businesses change. There is technology which is a very powerful tool today that's coming, and with AI coming in, there are a lot of businesses that are going to face challenges. Of course, automations, retrenchment of people, delegating to technology vis-a-vis delegating to people, all these kind of changes leaves a mixed blend of thoughts in minds of people. So today businesses, unlike the traditional chessboard, has moved to a billiards board, where even the best champion who knows that he can pot the ball in the right pocket, still if he plays through, he doesn't know the board will be completely different every single time. And that's what leaders are today. That is the level of crisis management, that is the level of planning, that is the level of execution, that is a level of thinking or creative thinking is required out of leaders today. And this is what the 21st century entrepreneur has to have in his toolkit. He has to have those skills. Unless he will not have those skills, he will not be capable of running businesses successfully. Understanding the crisis, change management, it has to be like this. Today technology is there, tomorrow it's different. Like, I was studying a few days ago, I was just reading about this SAP automation and all of that. Now, I remember the days when we used to manually pass entries, and we had a team of 8-10 people who used to please keep posting entries into SAP. Of course, the posting and all used to happen automatically, but we used to actually seek approvals and do that. Now SAP is automated. Just you hit an invoice and there all ledgers are updated instantly. That's the volume. That's the way businesses are changing today. Now, as a leader, how do you handle this? How do you manage crisis? Okay, we say yes, soft skills are important. A 21st century leader or 21st century entrepreneur would need to be empathetic with people. But why? Because it becomes more important that when technology hits you, you need to understand your people much better, because you have few of them. It's best you understand them, you relate to them, and you build in a relationship, a bond with your people, so that now this is something that's coming from the traditional system of management. You cannot say that I am somebody who's going to do this and do it in this way, and my team members have to follow. You have to be a nurturer. You have to nurture those people to give the desired results, because they are also facing the same kind of changes. And let me tell you, today's millennials, if you have them as employees, you've had it all, because they do not listen to their parents itself. How the hell are they going to listen to their bosses? So at that time, you act as a nurturer. You act as someone who's going to be the guiding map to those people as a leader. And that is what entrepreneurial spirit, and that's what the 21st century entrepreneur is all about. And that is what this toolkit carries, and which I'm going to be discussing. So there are certain set of skills which you would need. But before we move on to the skills and understand the dynamics of the 21st century entrepreneur, let me pose you a question. What, according to you, are the challenges faced by entrepreneurs and managers in today's times?
A lot of business has gone digital. It's virtual. So most of the time, entrepreneurs, they don't see the people that they are functioning with. You know, they're not working alone, and they don't have, well, they don't know their employees so well. Like in an offline setup in a factory or office, they interact with their employees so much. But in the virtual space, it's always on the monitor, you know. So maybe that's a challenge. It's not so easy to get people to respond, function, deliver.
Anybody, any other thoughts? What are the challenges faced by entrepreneurs today?
Can I say it the people problem?
Yes.
Because there is something called, personality clashes. Even within the organization, inter and intra personality problem.
Right. So let me tell you a story. What sir is rightly mentioning, people problem, departmental problem. So once upon a time, there was this village, and then, there were a lot of elephants in that village. If someone of you have heard this story, please, resonate it with what I am, you can add on there. So there were a lot of elephants, and then there was some old and some younger crowd. And what happened one fine day when the flock increased suddenly, the people from the village nearby thought that they are just going on increasing in number. So the best way is to kill some of them. And their Sardar, their boss decided that, the older ones should be killed away. Once you do that, the younger ones were remained all haywire. So because you know what, the older ones knew that when you want certain thing, what is the kind of guidance you should be given to these people. If you remove them completely from your organization, or if you remove them completely, it won't help, because they are the ones who build that network. They know how to connect with the right kind of people. As sir mentioned, that they are the right kind of people who can bridge the interdepartmental gaps, getting deviations in place, getting processed things with deviations, understanding the, taking, let's say somebody comes in late, and, he or she is a regular latecomer. What exception am I going to say? Because probably he's facing some issue at home, family situations or something. And I know genuinely he or she is a good worker. How do I manage that? How do I take that exception for my boss? If that person knows all of this, he will be able to, link the dots and let that employee nurture. That is where nurturing plays a very significant role. I'm not saying it's got something to do with age, but it's a quality, it's a trait that we need to all imbibe in if we want to grow in our career today, if we want to grow in organizations, or even if we want to build large businesses. We have to be a nurturer. You cannot be telling the millennials today that this is right and this is wrong. They will say get lost. Simple words. So you need to tell them and nurture them in the right fashion, and direct them focusedly that this is what it helps you achieve. So yes, coming to the challenges faced, I'll just summarize the challenges that are faced by entrepreneurs or managers today, one of which is majorly crisis management. What do I mean by crisis management? We've seen the pandemic of lately. There are a lot of things that are, we are all having very less resources available with us, but still productions have to run at 100% because we need to hit on our bottom line. Crisis in terms of situations, managing difficult challenges, managing difficult situations, all of those come under crisis situation. How am I going to manage that? That is a challenge in today's times. Effective communication, as I just mentioned in that example, talking to the right person, getting that network clicked and moving forward. When I say effective communication, my focus is simply on speaking with an intent and a purpose, speaking in a manner that the other person delivers what you want in the fashion the way you want, and also he or she does not feel lost in the process. That is what effective communication is all about. It takes a lot of skill, it takes a lot of patience and time to learn that. Yeah, I'm still learning. So yes, but I do feel that thinking about all these things, I have improvised my communication skills than what I was 2 years back. But having said that, it still needs a lot of improvement. So working on effective communication, speaking to the right people in the right fashion to get results, basically result oriented communication is what I mean by effective communication. That is very much lacking. That's a challenge that people face today. I am so busy with technology. I am so busy in my life. I have a lot of work at my desk. Who's going to talk to other people? That's the culture managers, leaders, entrepreneurs today come. My idea is the best. Go to hell. I have already got my startup license. Why do I even care for what others are doing? Boss, somebody better can come and take over your market share. Realize that. So that is where effective. So, if I was an effective communicator, I would have communicated with my competitor and bridged over that gap and built my business. So that is the key to the entrepreneurial spirit that I was talking about. So this is very much grossly lacking. The next one is about creative thinking. Creative thinking, how much ever I talk about, it's going to be less because it is something to do with the head and the heart. It is all about thinking differently, thinking what other people have not thought of, thinking out of the box, because innovation is the in thing today. Markets call for innovation today, be it in your process, project. You might not come up with a new product every time, but slight changes here and there brings in innovation to the table. For that, you need to think. And when you think, you have to really come up with different ideas. And this calls for putting in your time and effort in thinking. And we are also very busy individuals. We are so busy in managing the routine tasks only that we don't know how to manage and juggle with time, that we don't focus on what is important for us as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as leaders. Creative thinking is grossly lacking because we focus on the petty small tasks and defocus our minds from the major goal attainment objectives, what is desired out of us. And that creative thinking is grossly lacking. The next is critical thinking. Creative thinking was all about ideation. Critical thinking is about commenting on my own idea. Oh, no, my idea is going to be the best. Obviously, we will think like that. We fail to critically criticize our own ideas and arrive at a proper solution. No worries, we'll continue like so. And I will share the screen when I have to talk on a point, because my laptop is also given up by the end of the day before I have. So crisis management is, critical thinking is another very significant aspect of leaders, that they need to be capable of understanding that these are the few things that I have on hand. This is what I'm not capable of doing. This is what I'm capable of doing. How do I bridge that gap? How do I actually evaluate my own idea basis the parameters that I have, basis the infrastructure that I have, and make sure that the best idea is put to use? That is what critical thinking is all about, critically evaluating your own idea. The next is about focused approach, having a very focused approach on whatever you want to do. As I already told you, distractions are there all over us. What happens is you are working on an idea, be it as a leadership position or as a business owner. You're working on a particular idea and you see that idea, but at the same time your competitor beats you with something different. What happens? Your entire focus will change to what's happening new there. You will leave everything aside. There's a cost to it. There is your mind, your people who have been assigned on that thing. You leave everything and you start working on something different. Because changes are dynamic, your mind is dynamic, it will move towards different things. Having a very focused approach on what you want from your business is very important. And for this, you need to understand the concept of branding, not only your business branding, but your personal branding. Because as leaders, you should be capable of talking about your own brand. That is very important. So have a very focused approach on anything that you're doing, be it as a manager, as a leader, or even as an entrepreneur. That is something what I feel is another challenge in today's times. Sorry. I think now my presentation is working okay. The next is about delegation with responsibility. Many a times leaders or managers or entrepreneurs, they will delegate their tasks to their subordinates, but do not seek responsibility. Now, it's important that we should be capable of understanding the power of delegation and setting your entire business on autopilot mode. You should be capable of designing responsibility, role responsibility matrix, assigning jobs to everyone, and seeking responsibility. It's not only about telling you do this, but whether you have done. The nurturing factor plays a significant role here, because you not only need to tell them, but also guide them. Everyone has certain skill sets, and basis the skill sets only you will have delegated your job. But having said that, they need some amount of guidance. Not everybody can think like you. If they could think like you, they would be where you are, not where they are. So they need that guidance, and that is what the role of a leader is. The role of a leader is to take that exception, take that responsibility, and come up with solutions. So this Zoom has given me a timer of 10 minutes to end the session. In case we get logged off, please log in back with the same link that is given to you. So delegating it with responsibility, making sure that whatever you're delegating, you are getting back in return. You're getting the response in return, and you're getting the desired results. And desired results come only with the right kind of nurturing, with the right kind of skill to tell them that, you know, this is right, this is wrong. Because ultimately you have to bring them up the curve. You have to tell them that this is going to be an everyday thing, and how are you going to be doing it differently. So delegating with responsibility is another very key important aspect of, or the challenge that I see today that are faced by managers, leaders, entrepreneurs, all of them. And if you keep juggling around crisis and not knowing where to move forward, you will be blasting with stress. So how do you manage stress? That's another area where people fail, and they end up into, you know, different sort of habits which are not good in the long run. So how do you manage stress? How do you come out of it? That's another challenge which people today do not realize. So that's one small aspect about the challenges that I feel faced by managers today. Anybody feels that anything different or anything more can be as a challenge faced by managers today? Anything more, anything that you feel that you should add on as to the challenges?
I would say the challenges are created by the competitors.
They will be created by everyone around you, including you.
Especially competitors, because when they make a new product, it's a challenge for us. When they enter into a new market, it's a challenge for us.
So what we do as managers, leaders, entrepreneurs, the problem today is that we take that all ki haan, ye bhi karna chahiye, wo bhi karna chahiye, focused approach lost, stress increased, and there you are in a mess. So that's exactly what I'm saying, that these are the few things that I feel as the challenges faced by managers today. So let us look at what this 21st century toolkit is all about and how it can help solve people's problems. Next. So now we come to the main part. What is this toolkit all about? So this 21st century entrepreneur toolkit is all about certain skills which we discussed as challenges. Now they become a part of your toolkit. First and foremost, we are talking about leadership and delegation. So what sort of a leader should you be? Should you be a change leader? Should you be a dynamic leader? Or should you be a crisis management leader? A leader should be somebody who should be nurturing, who should be able to take risk, who should be able to take exceptions, because if you had to follow a process, you would not get the salary that you're getting. Leadership is one who, or an entrepreneur leader is one who takes the largest share in profit, bottom line, right? So you're taking that share for what? For taking risk, for making sure that you are taking deviations whenever required, at the right time, at the right place. So making those right decisions as an entrepreneur is very important as a 21st century entrepreneur. So leadership skills, delegation, these are the two key aspects as a 21st century entrepreneur's toolkit. So that's the first one. The next one is about interpersonal skills and relationship building. That means, how do I talk to this 21st century millennials? How am I going to build in an interpersonal relationship with them? What do I communicate? How is it that my communication should be to get my work done? how my team members look at me, react with me. That brings me to the next one, which is about personal brand. What is your personal brand? I'm not talking about the company the entrepreneur is holding that brand. No, as an entrepreneur, what do people look up to you as? Are you honest? Are you integral? Are you a change leader? What sort of a leader are you as an entrepreneur, as a leader? What is that spirit that you hold and stand out for yourself? That is the level of personal branding that I'm talking about. Not about the business. Obviously, your business will have its own USP, but just like your business has your own USP, what is your USP? What do people like to call you or associate you with? Are you the kind of leader where we would love to come and talk to and get our problems solved? Then you're a problem solver. Are you the kind who comes with innovative ideas? Then you're a creative brand. What is that brand that you want people to associate with you as an entrepreneur, as a leader? That is the next in the toolkit. That is understanding your personal brand. The next is about problem solving. I already told you that, critical thinking, coming out of new ideas, solving problems, not of people's, but also of products and services that you offer. Solving problems, getting the right kind of solution at the right time, because that's what crisis management is all about. If I have sufficient raw material and if I am able to find a solution after 3 years, 5 years, I'm outdated. That's what happened with Nokia, right? When Samsung, iPhone, and all these technology came in, and there are so many mobile phones which are available right now. But what happened to Nokia? They had a beautiful plan. They had it initially, but then they failed to come up with the idea very, soon. But by the time they could think about it, the market was filled with a lot of other mobile phones, Android mobile phones and iPhones in the market, and they lost the market share. So it's important to be a problem solver, and problem solving at the right time with the right kind of skill set, with the right kind of people. That is important. And the last is storytelling and public speaking. When I'm talking about effective communication, it is not about, uh, you know, showcasing presentations today in today's times and telling them that this is the graph and this is how you need to achieve success. People don't work on data, they work on stories. And Anjali ma'am, as a storyteller, would definitely vouch for what I'm just going to be saying or what I am saying right now. That stories have magic in them. Stories are one thing which people relate to and resonate with in terms of examples, in terms of life stories, and everything that you create around a story resonates and remains in your mind. Data doesn't. You cannot resonate. You love to go to watch movies because they are glorified versions of stories, and that is what makes you cry, makes you smile, and that's what you relate to. You remember, acha ha aisa hua tha ye picture mein, so it makes sense to me. That's the power of storytelling. Do leaders tell stories, inspiring stories, by setting examples? Are entrepreneurs able to build businesses based on storytelling? Are there business owners capable of telling the stories to people, like what Shakuni had listened from his parents and grandparents? Are you able to tell that kind of story? Are you able to, glorify that hero in your team member and bring him to a level that he is able to get that kind of leverage and recognition and satisfaction? It's got a combination to do with interpersonal skills as well, that how much story you can tell. Feedback, giving feedback is again a part of storytelling. We all have met bosses who can come and give feedback and you don't like. They give you negative feedback, you don't like. But there are people who give you negative feedback and you say, wow, this person really is genuine. He or she thinks about my growth. That's the power of storytelling. And that is very important as an 21st century entrepreneur as well as a leader, to build up that connection with people in his team. All right. We were talking about the different skills that is there in the entrepreneurial toolkit. So we don't only have things like storytelling or interpersonal skills building, leadership, problem solving, and storytelling, but also one more key aspect, which is about public speaking. Now, when I talk about public speaking, most of us feel that it's going on stage and talking to multiple people, but that's not what public speaking is all about. Public speaking is putting your message right across to a larger set of audience. It could be even a investor pitch deck that you're doing. It could be as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, to state your point to the management. And who better than Warren Buffett, someone whom I'm a great fan of, and a finance expert, says something like this, that the one easy way to become 50% more than you are now, at least, is to hone your communication skills, both written and verbal. Now, coming from a man like with whose worth is so many $billion, this means now something, right? And that is what he talks about public speaking and the importance of public speaking. Also, in an interview in the Inc. magazine, he has mentioned that there is only one diploma or certificate that he mentions on his desk. It is not a business degree, or it's not any finance degree. It's a certificate he has completed the public speaking on. Warren Buffett says it's the most valuable degree he has now for a man who has a $80 billion worth. Saying something like this means kuch to hoga public speaking mein. This is what Warren Buffett says about public speaking. And if you are a leader, an entrepreneur, somebody who is establishing such a big business, such a big net worth, is speaking so. That is how important public speaking is. It's not about speaking in front of large audience. It's all about, even at the interview, what you're doing in group discussions, in speaking to panels. It's all about public speaking. It is talks about more to do with your confidence and your ability to speak or address larger audience. And that is what public speaking is, what we are talking about in terms of developing for the 21st century entrepreneur. So these are the few skills that are that I feel are important for the 21st century entrepreneur, or you can say the tools of the 21st century entrepreneur. Having said that, what does it take, or what does a 21st century leader do? What exactly should he be like? What is that image that, now that I have drawn you towards a picture of somebody who is having this toolkit, let us look at what this man looks like, or what this person looks like. What is this 21st century leader? What does he do? How is he different from the rest? So he's his own boss. He's capable of decision making, powerful decision making, risk taking. These are the things that a 21st leader should have, or 21st century entrepreneur should have. Building in creativity in managing people and processes. So he should be creative enough to draw attention of their people, direct them in the right fashion, delegate work, seek responsibility, tweak his processes, basis the latest development in the world outside, manage his processes in the manner that would give the best desired results. That is what he should be capable of doing. He should have focused goals. So his goal setting should be very, very focused. His approach should be not only on his personal goals. Now here, when I say focused goal setting, it's not about personal goals. It's more to do with matching your personal goals with the organization goals, or if as a leader, and if as an entrepreneur, how much does your goal match with your organization's plan, organization's goal? How do you sync your goals with, or how does a co-founder sync his goals with the owner of the company? How does the leadership team is built? What is the level of creativity? See, leadership teams are very small. You have one or two at the top, and we all are working in pyramids. Organizations work in pyramids. Whether you are at the top as an entrepreneur, you should be very, very focused on what you can see, and what you can see is what you can see in the future, what you can see far enough. How much can you see that? In a dynamic environment, when the floor below you is not stable, how can you see, and what will you see? How much can you see? That is where I talk about focused goal setting. So how much have you set for yourself, and how much have you achieved? How are you going to be measuring that every single time business dynamics happen? That is important. That is what a 21st century entrepreneur or a leader should do. Building interpersonal and relationship management, all about people, how you're going to be nurturing them, especially the millennials who are not going to give a ear to you, how you're going to make them listen to you and help them grow in the corporate ladder. That is what 21st century leaders should be capable of doing. Being a North Star, you understand a North Star? North Star is somebody that people look up to, people who are decision makers, and you feel, oh wow, this decision is right. Ye bolega to sahi hai, I have to listen to this. That's the kind of leadership that is required by a 21st century leader. Then obviously you will have followers. Okay, so enhancing your effective communication, speaking in the right manner, talking and communicating in the manner that people deliver the desired results, bringing in an effective work culture. Now, building work cultures is all about leading by example. So you cannot have people to listen to you if you are not following that. So proper time management means you need to walk into your office on time so that people do the same. Work life balance, if you are maintaining, your team will. So it goes like that. So whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are a leader, how are you building that culture? It's not about the DNA or the, what you say, the vision mission that is put up in companies or organizations. That is there. Yes, that is the base. But what is your belief system talk about? And that belief system comes from the top. It is not a bottom up approach. It's a top down approach, that if you are able to imbibe something in your people, then your job is done. They will automatically listen to you. Rest, everything you need not do. If this gets right, if the work culture is set right, if people are able to relate to your vision mission, then you are on the right track. And when I say vision mission, it's not about what you are talking in terms of vision mission policy, which is given in the induction training programs of organizations. Setting by example, doing it day in and day out, and people watching you do it, and that's how they feel, oh, this is the work culture of this organization, I can relate to it. Otherwise, vision mission are just sentences, statements that they follow, that's all. So it should be in a different manner, from a different perspective. And of course, proper time management, building in team synergies, and engaging as a leader to grow to the next level. So it's all about the 21st century leader, wherever you are, what you want to do, where you want your business to grow to. And if you are in an organization, what leadership level do you want to grow to? What is your level of hunger for success? How much is the growth appetite you have? And how many followers, that team synergy that you can build and take along with you? That is very important. So this is what the 21st century, in my view, looks like. The 21st century leader or a 21st century entrepreneur portrays and looks like. If you have all of this, then definitely you can be a 21st century entrepreneur. So now for that, we have a program, which is the Entrepreneurship Skill Building and Managerial Effectiveness Program. This program actually has certain objectives, which is in line with what we just discussed. So in this program, you will get to learn what an entrepreneur is like. Now, what we did in just about 15-20 minutes, it's a lot more than that, obviously. So it's going to take time. It's going to be more in detail. What is the time management and effective communication strategies that are being used? What is problem solving? How do you become a problem solver? How do you collaborate with teams? How do you delegate businesses? In fact, how do you actually set your businesses in autopilot mode so that the next time your team members don't even have to come and ask you what to do next? They know what needs to be done. So how can you delegate to that level? And aligning your personal goals with the company goals for overall success. So that is the learning objectives of this program, somewhat on building you to be the 21st century leader. The benefits obviously are going to be long term, because you need to grow in your career, be a problem solver, have a focused goal approach, and stay accountable and responsible. So broadly, this will help you. I can say, rather than putting up all these points, I would just like to mention 3 key benefits of the entire program. One, it will make you how to face challenges in life, okay, individually. I'm not just only talking about managers, entrepreneurs, but how to face challenges in life, how to get that hunger and that appetite for that hunger for success. How much do you want to grow? How to build in that thing. And third, how to connect with people and solve their problems. So connecting with people, identifying problems, building relationships, and solving problems. That is the context of broadly what you can grasp from this program. Obviously, the course contents are going to be divided into 6 hours, 3. One is about understanding yourself. So to understand your role in organization, or to grow up as a 21st century entrepreneur or a leader, first you need to understand yourself. What is your goals? Are they in line with the company goals? What is your personal brand? Are you a decision maker or not? What is stress management all about? Then the next is obviously the focus is on being a leader, being an entrepreneur with leader with an entrepreneurial spirit, so to put it. As what sort of change leader can you become? What is the crisis management? What is the work effectiveness in the group? How can you work cohesively in a group environment? How are you going to be negotiating better? What persuasion skills do you have, and how will you communicate across organizations? Those would be certain skills which will take another 6 hours. And the third bit is about the power of vision. How are you going to be starting anything? We said now we get a lose the focused approach, and then you get mixed up with somebody else coming in. So this is what is important, the power of vision. Starting something with the end in mind, keeping the future in mind, and focusing on your present, crafting your personal vision and the vision of the company. So you need to have your team also aligned to this personal vision. Taking action to implement your personal vision, how you're going to be taking those step by step bit size action plans to reach out to the top level of achieving your vision. So that's the next 6 hours. So total of 18 hours. We have divided this program into 6 weeks of 3 hours each, obviously with discussions, case studies. Now, when I say 6 weeks, 3 hours means it's going to be over the weekend, any 3 hours basis on the group, how the group wants to do this discussion. So any 3 hours, we'll block the time and we will do it on maybe Google Meet or something like that to have a discussion. And we are already starting a batch tomorrow, and that is already gone full. Now the next batch is coming up on the 15th of August. We are starting that. So that's another one where we will be discussing this program. The fees was 18,000 that I charge for corporates, like for senior level managers and all. But we are going to be putting it as 10,000, and for II3 it is 8,000 plus GST at Learning Equinox. So this is what the entire story talks about. Whatever I just gave you in the last 40 minutes, 45 minutes was just a glimpse, but in-depth study and analysis we will be having in this program, which starts on the 15th of August. It's going to be a 6-week program. So 6 weeks we will be handled. So the reason why we've kept 6 weeks and 3 hours is simply because, say, let's say 3 hours over the weekend, we invest our time in, studying the concepts. During the week, you will be actually be given case studies and practical examples where you'll be actually implementing them on the floor, or, trying to understand how you can actually implement, because these are skills, and skills I cannot give a lecture on and you get ready with it. It doesn't happen like that. It needs handholding, it needs coaching. So this is more like a coaching kind of a session that we will be having. So these are basically what I wanted to cover in the entrepreneur toolkit basically. So that's all. Thank you for a patient listening.
Thank you. That was very nice, Jyoti. Very informative.
So if anybody is interested in the program, they can get in touch with me.
Yes.
Or add the given numbers. So number and email ID is there on the screen. You probably can just get in touch with me. And those of you who know me, you can get in touch with me on my personal number also. So that is not an issue. But other than that, you can get in touch with me at the number given on the screen and discuss. So thank you, Paul sir and Anjali ma'am, for a very patient listening and listening to my voice towards the end of the day.
Very stimulating. Nice session. Very nice session.
So can I enter into vote of thanks session?
Yes,
yes.
Yeah. So thank you, Jyoti, for this wonderful session. What our country needs is more of entrepreneurs than the more of people who are looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
There is a saying, 80% of the graduate educated people, they are looking for a job, and that too job they want in government, but they don't want government schools or government hospital. So according to Captain Raghuraman, who had a speech, he said 90% people are living with self-employment. So those who are wanting to, start their own employment, they need this course. I strongly recommend people watching this YouTube video that unless you spend money and learn, you cannot make change. And unless you make change, you
So
cannot.
I would like to add over here that in today's, we live in a world like, what today is, that, I will go and buy a nice suit for myself for 5,000. We say, okay, fine. It's the best investment is investment in ourselves. And we follow that. But we invest in what? In expensive clothing, in our looks, in our makeup, in shoes, and whole lot of other things. But when it comes to knowledge, we are like, oh my God, this is so expensive. So yes, knowledge is expensive, and that's where it fetches value. So it completely depends on how much value you want to add on to your life and build upon it. It's completely a choice that you have.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And in fact, if a course is too cheap, many people don't join because they feel it's
Yeah,
not worth it. You have to have some standard there, standard for charging also.
I'll Jyoti, for the benefit of the people who are will be watching this YouTube video, I want to share a story. Two management graduates from IAM Calicut, they had offer campus offer of 8 lakhs and 6.5 lakhs. So they declined. They said, no, we don't want to accept this offer. So people said, this is a story about maybe 10 years back. So they said 8 lakhs, 6.5 lakhs per annum. People nowadays, people don't get job. So these two people said, we don't want the job because we are much more worth than what these people are offering.
Yeah,
This 8
exactly.
lakhs, the 8 lakhs or 6.5 lakhs, it's a peanut. There is a saying, na, if you throw peanuts, you will get only monkeys who will pick it up. But if you want, if you want, what do you call lions, or if you want, what do you call, maybe you can call it lions, you have to, meat, feed the meat. So that is something. So then they said, what are you going to do now? They said, we are going to start a process industry. But then they said, but you are not from the process industry. They said, no, one of us is, technical, is an engineer. He will go for a 6 months diploma in food processing industry. Whereas I am from the finance background, I will work on how to formulate a company, and also we will go to some village where we will adopt the whole village, make them to cultivate what what food we like tomato, what we want, and we will employ one person from the family of these our associates who will be the farmers, and we will see that we will adopt the village, set up schools, everything. So that is how we are going to start this process. And then he said, will that give you enough return? He said, yes. Instead of these 8 lakhs or 6.5 lakhs, we may be earning in crores. So we should always earn what is our worth. Not you throw peanuts and monkeys come and pick it up. So these there is a saying in India, they don't pay good salary. They pay very small salary. One is that they don't
No,
pay
I
good.
don't feel so. It depends on how you sell yourself.
Yeah. Even I feel that people are willing to pay nowadays for education, but it has to be quality education. We just can't fool people.
Yeah.
So
If
should
you're
we
able to
also?
sell your skills, then yes, you do get a better price. But yeah, I mean, many people lack there. Again, that's a skill. That's something that is interview skills, which is more different than what we had just discussed. So, if you have to prepare yourself, there's different way of preparing so that you fetch a better salary.
So wonderful content, wonderful presentation. I wish the people who are watching this YouTube video after this session, please spend 10,000 rupees. If those who are IAI members, spend 8,000 rupees. Have the skills to become an entrepreneur, to start up. I think there are a lot of offers are coming up. So instead of picking up the peanuts, pick up the, like monkeys, become a lion and pick up the meat. This is an example. I'm not exactly saying.
I
So
get
wonderful, wonderful session, Jyoti. Now I have got one or two more point to discuss. As a IAI Vice President, I invite viewers or people who are watching the video to become IAI 3 members. We showcase your skills through knowledge sharing session and our e-journal. Both we put it in social media. What you may be lacking today is visibility on social media. You are only promoting within a small known circle, whereas in social media you get a very large visibility. So please join IAI 3 members. Come forward to showcase your skill through knowledge sharing session. Every Tuesday we have a knowledge sharing session. As of now, we have already planned up to you can say up to 5th October. There is one slot available on 7th September, and after that we our vacation starts, Dasara, Diwali, Navratri, all that thing, and we resume our knowledge sharing session on 23rd November, Tuesday. And I think Jyoti, you will be sending the invitation for article. So we
Yes.
invite articles from you that we put it in the e-journal and it goes social media. People see. Let me tell you, I get my training assignments when people read my articles in e-journal. So that is the beauty of e-journal and knowledge sharing session. And also people see me on social media. They call me and say, sir, when is your next session? Can you come and conduct a session? So you get a visibility on social media. So please come and join IAI 3, conduct knowledge sharing session, write e-journal articles. And we request you to become a paid member. This is rupees 1,500 per annum. That is nothing compared to what facilities we offer you. That is the visibility on social media is 1,500 is nothing. So I welcome you to IAI 3 platform. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your nice words
Thank you.
and the concluding speech.
Thank you. Thank you,
Anjali
sir.
ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Sir, for a patient listening.
Oh, it was great. It was very stimulating to learn so much about entrepreneurship. Thank you so much.